right, so we're here today because you guys, Kate and Jane, you're having roommate issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so my name is Lisa, and I'm going to help you guys work through your conflict today, and hopefully we can come to a good agreement on how so you guys can continue to move forward and hopefully maintain a friendship.
Awesome.
So are we all in agreement that today we're going to hopefully respect each other and not have any name calling and let the other talk?
We'll do our best.
Yeah, I think that's going to be possible for me at least. Kate, not sure.
Okay.
That's so Jane.
So the process today, we're going to have one of you go first, tell your side of the story, then we'll allow the other to go. When one person is talking, we're going to make sure that the other is listening respectfully, and we're not going to interrupt. And then what we're going to do is we will, after that, hopefully start generating some solutions, find something that we can all mutually agree on, write it up, and then we'll all sign it. And then in a couple weeks, we'll meet back up again, go over what our solution was, how things are going, and if we need to modify anything. How does that sound for everyone?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. So again, ground rules. When Kate's talking, Kate's allowed to talk. Jane won't interrupt. And when Jane's talking, Jane is allowed to talk and Kate won't interrupt. All right. So who would like to go first today?
Why don't you go, Kate?
Sure.
All right.
So basically, to start from the beginning, I was at first wanting to just live on in the residence, and Kate basically convinced me to move off campus with her, or Jane did. Sorry.
You're speaking in the third person. That's, not unlike Kate at all.
Yeah. So Jane convinced me to move off campus with her, and you know we had a really good friendship. We hung out a lot. We cooked food together. We did a lot of things together. And then Jane got a boyfriend, Dave, and now she's never around. We just never hang out anymore, and I'm alone in the house, and I feel like I could have stayed on in the residence where I would have had, lots of people to hang out with, but now I feel isolated. And I'm kind of resentful towards Jane because it was her idea to move off campus, and we were under the impression that we were going to be hanging out a lot, and that's not what happened. So I feel like I kind of got sold something that wasn't actually, real, wasn't true. So basically, there's some other problems, Jane, didn't pay me her half of the bill, and I didn't have enough money to pay the whole thing, so now I'm late on it, and she's causing me to have late fees, and there's, she's never there, and so, I'm doing everything around the house, and because she's never there, I had a friend spend the night, and she, stayed in Jane's room, and Jane, happened to come home, just, out of the blue, because she's never there, and she freaked out about it. And, I feel like she's never there, so, what's the big deal, So, yeah, that's kind of my side of the story.
Okay. Jane, why don't you tell your side? So we know that you decided you wanted to live with Kate, live off campus.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell me more of your side?
Well, I think Kate did do a good job explaining the issue. She's lonely. That really has nothing to do with me. And because she's lonely, she's been kind of a tyrant at the house and is pretty disrespectful for my things. As part of being a roommate with someone, you didn't anticipate that you have to hang out with them or be their therapist or their little buddy. And so, because I happen to get a boyfriend, I'm being, I'm being unnecessarily disrespected in at the house. Some examples of that are one, as Kate already said, she let some stranger just sleep in my bed, which is ridiculous, whether I'm there or not there. That's just wild. To even let someone in my room just feels like disrespecting my privacy. Also, Kate makes it sound like she's Cinderella, cleaning the house, doing everything, but she doesn't take out the trash. She doesn't unload the dishwasher. Like, she doesn't really do anything, so I won't be at the house for sure, maybe like a long weekend, and I come back and it still looks like shit. It hasn't been cleaned, and so it just seems like kind of ridiculous. She's the one living in it, so why can't she clean it?
Okay. All right.
And I don't want to live with her anymore. It's basically what it comes down to, because I signed up for a place to live, not a I'm not like a service animal to take care of someone with loneliness problems.
Okay. So, all right. So, let's try to avoid name calling. First of all, we want to make sure this is a respectful area. This is also an area where you guys can feel free to vent some of your issues, but we're working on coming to a mutual agreement, one that everyone seems satisfied with. So, because we want to make this a win-win situation for both of you. So, if I'm understanding, first of all, the issue, Kate, I feel like you're saying really what you're feeling is you're feeling alone. You came in with one idea, and you don't feel like it's been upheld. But also, you're worried about your credit because rent and utilities haven't been paid on time. And so you're concerned about certain things that are going to affect your future.
Yeah, I guess I'm concerned because it's it's the middle of the semester, and like we have a lease together, and if Jane just leaves, like I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to find another roommate, and I just kind of wish that Jane would carve out a little more time for our friendship. That's really kind of maybe that's where it's like where I'm feeling kind of hurt, and so I understand that life happens. Jane got a boyfriend, and I understand that Dave is now an important part of Jane's life. But like I feel like there should be a little more balance. Like she needs to make a little more time for her other friends.
So Jane hearing,
hurt.
I'm sorry.
Just feeling hurt.
Got it. So Jane hearing some of that, how does that make you feel?
Well, honestly, it feels kind of hypocritical because last year, Kate had a boyfriend and spent most of their time with him, and so it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's my fault. I'm empathetic to Kate that she's lonely. Like I understand how that feels, and yeah. So I'm sorry. It just seems like the way you're going about trying to get me to hang out is, well, you're not going about it in a productive way at all. You're basically just being kind of a pain in the ass to me.
Let's try to refrain
Sorry.
from name calling, because we do want to try, hopefully, to maintain this friendship still. Would you both like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really want that. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's try to remember that as we continue to move on with this, because our goal in the end is still to keep this friendship intact, whether it's living together or possibly not. So how long is your lease?
So the lease is for a year.
Okay.
And we signed it in July over the summer because that's when the house became available. So yeah, it's the year.
And is there any way to terminate the lease early?
Yeah, there is, but I mean, it's going to cost us a whole another month of rent, and it's the middle of the semester, so I don't know if we're going to be able, I don't know what we're going to do for living arrangements, if there's something we can do. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if I'm understanding everything correctly, Kate, you're just feeling lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you came in with what you thought was some ideas of what this living situation would be like. And also you're worried about your credit. And then Jane, you are wanting to feel more independent. You don't necessarily want to feel like you have to always be at the house, but at the same time you feel like your boundaries are being disrespected.
Yeah, like if I pay for a room, no one should enter it, whether I'm in it or not.
Okay. So why don't we try maybe to start generating some solutions that would work best for you guys? So when it comes to, let's say, rent, when is rent due every month?
So rent is due by the 4th of every month. We have 4
Okay.
days to get it in.
And do you guys split it evenly?
Mm-hmm.
And utilities as well?
Yep.
Okay. So have you guys set up a payment schedule for? Have you thought about setting up a payment schedule that would work for both of you?
Yeah, I guess if it's necessary, we could do that.
I mean, usually I'm on time. If I see Kate beforehand, she'll just be like, "Hey, I need the check for rent tomorrow," and I'll do it. It just sometimes, I feel like Kate isn't the most responsible one either, so she's always waiting till like the 4th to pay it. And so if I happen to not be around the 3rd or the 4th, she never asked me for the check, and I just forget about it. So, yeah.
So what type of solution do you guys think would work that might be beneficial to both of you when it comes to the payment issue?
I think we just need to set a date that's before the 4th to make sure that we have all our checks in order, basically. Something.
That makes sense to me. I mean, usually the first of each month I can do. It depends on my pay schedule. So sometimes I might miss out on a couple days, but.
Okay, so I'm going to write some stuff down just so we kind of have an idea of what we're looking at. All right, so when we talk about payments, we want to set up a payment schedule, we think. And what you mentioned the first, Jane, would the first work for both of you?
Yeah, it works for me.
Yeah, I think having a couple extra days would be good. Like if Kate, so I use Google Calendar. If Kate would use her calendar, then we could like put a reminder in there and set up a time to make a payment.
Kate, what do you think of that?
I think that sounds like a good idea. I mean, I think having a reminder would just be helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
I brought this up before though, and it didn't work. So.
Well, so what didn't work about it?
Well, Kate just doesn't want to use a calendar.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think we should have to do it. I think we should just both be, mature adults about it and just be able to work together without having to use some reminder calendar to remember to pay rent,
Yeah, but like you say that, and all I hear is the person who's lonely and can't be by themselves wants us to act like a mature adult.
Jane,
Okay.
Why are you being so mean to me?
Hey, let's try to keep this positive. We're trying to work on a mutual agreement that will work for everyone. So, Kate, I understand what you're saying, and what I'm hearing is you feel like reminders are not necessary. That it should be an automatic thing to remember because it's rent.
I feel like that's how it should be, but clearly that's not the case. So let's go ahead and try this.
Okay. Who would be willing to set up the calendar reminder?
I can set it up,
Okay.
but Kate's going to have to figure out how to log into her Gmail account.
Okay.
But I'll definitely set it up and I can invite you to it. I can even show you if you need me to.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Okay.
That's a wonderful solution. And Jane, I think that's really nice of you in support of a good friend to help Kate with that. That way both of you are in accordance of when it's due, but it also gives you some extra time to pay the rent, just in case your pay schedule's a little off, or you need to get a little extra money.
That'd be good.
Okay. So we'll put that, a J for Jane, saying that you have agreed that you're going to set that up.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, who will actually pay the rent?
I'll keep paying the rent.
Okay. Jane, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think that works well because I don't have a checking account. I get paid in cash under the table.
Okay.
So I can't really write our landlord a check.
That makes sense. Okay. So we've agreed on how to help us get our rent to be on time, which will help with credit for both of you. How do we feel about this so far?
Yeah, I feel good, but I mean, I don't think we've addressed like some of the main issues here.
And I completely understand.
We're addressing the housing issue, which is what you would come to a resolution lady for.
And I think that we have to take everything step by step. And I think breaking this down into more realistic and smaller goals will make it easier for you guys to be able to overcome some of this.
Okay, I'm on board.
Okay. All right. So
Should we do that with utilities too?
yes, I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much for suggesting it, Jane. How about utilities? You split it evenly so far? That's what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, like the latest utility bill, like there's a late fee, so we're gonna have to split that too. I'm not paying the whole damn late fee.
All right, I'm okay with paying the late fee, but can we maybe scale back some of our utilities? Like we have the NFL Network and DirecTV, and that doesn't make any sense to me because you only watch one football team, and we don't need all the games, and I'm not even there, and I don't even like football.
Yeah, fair enough. We can figure something out.
Okay.
I mean, can't we use the internet instead of having a cable subscription?
All right. So how about for a goal for next time is each of you write down the utilities that you find necessary. Okay?
Sounds good.
And then also write down the utilities that you would like to have. And so we can start looking over, agree what we maybe want to split them on. But at the same time, go over, and if, for example, if DirecTV is very important for you, maybe we can look into it and see if there's something that Jane also really wants. Maybe we can still split things that way.
Cool.
So when we meet it back up in 3 weeks, each of you will have a list of utilities that you need and want.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
When are utilities due? Kate? I don't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, they're due on the mid-month, 15th of every month.
The 15th?
Yeah.
So maybe we have to set up another calendar reminder, or can I just give you enough money at the beginning of the month to cover them? Like, do you know how much they cost by the beginning of the month?
Yeah, I mean, they're usually pretty consistent. So I think we could just maybe rope it in with the rent calendar reminder.
Okay.
So
And then I'll give you all that at the beginning. But then you have to obviously make sure you don't spend that money before the 15th. Boozing it up or something.
yeah. Oh,
So we, let's try to keep respectful.
All right. Well, I booze up too sometimes. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Careful.
I boozed up a little before this meeting. Sorry.
Next time we're also going to come and we're going to be prepared.
That's the disrespect part I'm talking about. She can't
Okay.
even come to a
Yeah,
resolution
but
meeting
I'm
sober.
lonely. All right. All right, Dane. I'm kind of lonely, and
That's
like-
what TV's for.
All right. We still have other issues to work through. We aren't done with this conflict resolution at all. Okay? So let's try to keep calm. Let's try to focus on one thing at a time that we both want to get through and not jump ahead of ourselves.
I'm happy to pay for the utilities when I pay for rent, if that works.
that works for me.
Okay. So utilities will be paid with rent. And we all agree with this.
Yep.
Okay?
And if for some reason there's not enough money to pay the utilities when the 15th comes around, I feel like I want Kate to commit to paying any late fee or something. If I pay the money and then it magically disappears before the 15th, I don't want to be held responsible.
That's fair.
Okay. So then Kate will cover late fees. Is that a fair assessment?
As long as I get the payment, yes.
Okay. And what if the payment's late? Can we agree on a solution? What we want to agree with that?
My payment to Kate is late?
Yes. So say the 15th rolls around, but because of your pay schedule, you weren't able to get in the utility payment early enough.
So
How do we want to deal with late fees then?
It feels like I should cover them then if I haven't paid by the 15th.
Okay.
Thanks, Jane.
You're welcome. It's still your credit though.
All right, we'll just leave it at that. All right. Unless Jane is late.
Yeah. Like Kate was late last year and had to go to the clinic.
We don't need to reminisce about the past. We're now looking to move forward and to come to an agreement that works for everyone. Is there anything with payment that you would still like to discuss?
No, I mean I think payment is great. It's great talking about payment, but I want to know, like, is Jane still going to be living with me or not? That's that's what I want to know, because she wants to move out. So
I want to move out because I feel like I'm getting hassled for things like this, and I feel like just because I'm not there, I somehow am forfeiting the privacy that goes with renting a place. Obviously, I don't want to have to find a new place to live in the middle of a semester. Like that would suck, and I want to keep living at the house, but not if.
I know it's crazy that you're paying for this place, but you're never there. You're always just hanging out with Dave.
Okay, so let's start talking more about these issues.
Okay.
Okay, let's start discussing getting some of our feelings out. But remember, we want to be respectful. You are friends, and we want to continue this friendship. So Jane, I'd actually like to ask you. So you stated before that you feel like your privacy and your possessions are being disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well, like I said, it just seems that because I'm not there all the time, when I do return, I don't have like the same right to the space as Kate does. And the way I see it is like I would love a situation where I only have to pay half the rent, and yet my roommate's never there, and I get the space to myself. And so it almost feels like, in my opinion, Kate's got a really awesome situation. She only has to deal with a roommate for 2 days, maybe 3 days a week, but she only pays half the rent. Like, I would love that. And so I feel like you're the one that's getting a great deal. I'm the one that's kind of like paying for a space needlessly, but I want that space. Like, it's important for me to have my own place to retreat to. And so it's important when that happens that, well, first, no one's in my bed, but just in general, like, I feel welcome.
So, Jane, when you think about, you said that you think that this is a great situation for Kate because she's only paying half the rent.
Yeah.
But she still gets the entire location to herself.
A lot of days, yeah.
Can you look at, have you thought about seeing this from Kate's perspective?
Yeah, I get it. It's lonely, like, but I don't know. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I can set up a Tinder profile for you. I mean, you can't be that lonely because strangers are sleeping in my bed. So,
all right.
Like, that feels kind of like, it feels a little bit like BS. I mean, yeah, you always seem to have people around or over at the house and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know what she wants me to do. Like, I'm not gonna break up with Dave for it.
All right, and Kate, how do you, hearing what Jane has to say, and that her stuff she's feeling disrespected, and that her privacy isn't being honored as much. How do you feel hearing that?
Well, I mean, like, she's never there, obviously. I mean, when I say never, most of the time she's not there. And I get where she's coming from, that it would be weird to come home and have someone in your room. So I'd be willing to not do that anymore, to make sure if someone stays over, like, then they sleep on the couch or something like that.
Okay.
But because she's gone, like, I'm getting lonely, so I need to, I'm kind of craving, connection with someone, with people. So I'm going to continue to have people stay over, but I agree not to, like, have them stay over in Jane's room.
Okay.
So
Jane,
I'm fine with that. Like, I understand where she's coming from on that it's a violation of privacy, and, I'm sorry.
Jane, how do you feel hearing about what Kate is saying?
Thank you. I'm glad you apologized, and you apologized that day too, which was nice of you, but it felt a little empty because you were also so pissed about rent and everything. And so hearing it again, I accept your apology.
Good. So we've come to an understanding there. Kate, in the future, when you have friends over, they'll stay either in your room or out in the common area. And that way Jane doesn't feel like her area is being violated. Do we agree on that?
I think that's agreed. Makes sense.
Okay, good. All right, and so next, though, let's talk about Kate's isolation. So Kate, you have had friends over, you said. How do you do you belong to any clubs or any groups?
I belong to the choir group,
Okay.
but we meet like once a week, and I'm not really friends with most of them. So that's about it. Most of the time, I'm studying. Otherwise, but really, like, I just honestly like I miss hanging out with Jane. I feel like whenever Dave's over, like Jane is just kind of like all over him, like on the couch, and it's like like can't we? And I'm sitting there, I feel just like this third wheel basically, and maybe that's part of the reason why I don't like Dave very much is because it's just like he's basically commanding all of Jane's attention whenever we're together, and I think because I'm uncomfortable by that, Jane feels like she has to basically not. Whenever she's gonna hang out with Dave, it has to be somewhere else, and I just wish like when they're hanging out together, like I'd be totally cool with them hanging out together here, like in our place, if they could just maybe not be so like wrapped up in each other's worlds, where it's just like, hey, can you include me too? Like, can we kind of just be more like friends when we're hanging out together instead of them just like focusing on each other? That just makes me resent Dave even more, So
Jane, hearing that, how does that resonate with you?
I mean, it makes sense, but we don't hang out with Kata's group anymore because she just will always make awkward like and like all these awkward sounds and stuff. I don't know. She just makes it really clear that she's disapproving, and that's not really fun to be around. But I think most of this is just because. I mean, I don't know that Kate ever really dealt with the fact that her boyfriend last year, Rick, died.
That is a very sad situation. And Kate, I hope that you are seeking out help with this and talking with someone.
it was a really hard time, obviously.
And I get it. We all felt terrible about the whole situation. And I've invited you to come out with Dave and some of his friends a couple times, and you always turn it down. But like,
well, yeah, I mean, my
want.
boyfriend died. Like, come on, Jane. Like, what would you do if Dave died?
I mean, it would be terrible, but none of Dave's friends hang glide, so they're not going to go out like Rick did.
So why don't we start trying to look at a solution with this? On something maybe we can agree. What would be some type of solution or agreement that you guys could come to about spending time together?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I miss Jane. I want her to hang out at the house more. So, I mean, it's just that I hope that we could like, and I'll do my best not to like be passive aggressive about her when Dave's around, and when they're hanging out. But it's like, I just kind of want to feel like I'm more included in the group a little bit.
I get that. I think I would really love for Dave to feel comfortable coming to our house and like hanging out there. And I think it would be awesome if you came out with us sometimes and like did things. And honestly, I think like it would be also helpful for you to just get some like counseling and process some of that, and then we can be normal friends.
Makes sense.
So what about some type of possible schedule?
I don't know. That's where I draw the line on the calendar reminders. I feel like if we got to schedule our friendship, I mean, maybe, well, we both love watching Bachelorette, so maybe like we do that every Thursday night together or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay, so you guys can maybe try to carve out some time that would work specifically for both of you. Where maybe Dave is there or Dave isn't there.
He hates The Bachelorette.
Well, that's even better. So that way
He
that could be
loves it.
just some you time.
That'd be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
So why don't we, for the next time, why don't you guys write some activities that might be fun for the two of you to do, but also maybe fun that Dave could join in as well. And both of you could do it. So maybe you can find just a couple things, not where you necessarily, it's the same thing every week, though the Bachelorette is always fun, but something that you guys can look forward to together. But it also allows you, Kate, to meet people because you said you have been feeling lonely.
Sounds good.
And
Sounds
Kate,
sweet to me.
I really do think that maybe you should consider seeing someone. I know losing someone can be very difficult, but I think that Jane is obviously worried about you, and she cares for you. So I think that you just think about it. So it would help you as well.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Okay. I think, Jane, how do you feel about that?
Good. Are there services at the college that you could introduce Kate to?
Definitely. I'd be more than happy, Kate, to sit down with you and we can start going over some of your different options and see what you would feel most comfortable with and who you'd feel most comfortable speaking to.
Sounds good.
So we'll set up something after this, okay?
Okay.
All right. So what other issues? So the cleaning, that seems to also have been an issue.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get where Jane's coming from. That like she isn't really contributing to any of the mess around the house, but it still feels like, I'm just kind of stuck with everything there, and it's like it'd be nice to have some help, from time to time.
I get that, and honestly, I don't find you that. The cleaning's not that big of a problem from my standpoint, Kate. And I could probably, whenever I come home, be a lot more open to just helping out with some of the chores. Because, you didn't sign up to have to manage the whole house yourself, so I get that.
Thanks.
So what type of solution do you guys think, agreement, could you come up with this so you know each what you're doing?
I don't know. Maybe we could have some sort of chore chart or something like that.
What if before The Bachelor, every Thursday we just spend 15 minutes and just clean the house so that it's always in a pretty good shape?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And that also allows you guys to spend some more time together.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay?
Cool.
So I feel like we've come to some really good solutions today. And so what is going to happen is this next week, I'm going to write everything up. So when you guys come back in 3 weeks with your assignments, we're going to go over everything. We'll update the document as well, but then we're all going to sign it.
Cool.
So that way we have contracts that everyone has agreed to, and then we'll meet up in a month again and see how everything's working. How does that sound for everyone?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I feel like we've made some great progress today. How do you two feel about it?
Feel better.
Feel good.
Good. All right. Well, I will see you guys in 3 weeks at the same time, okay?
Thanks, mediation lady.
Thank you. All right, we're done. Oh my God.
That was good.
Oh my